So it looks like SpongeBob SquarePants is getting some spin-offs in the near future. Wait, what?
I got hot sauce in my bag, swag.
Hello there, beautiful human. My name is RadiousDX and welcome to my channel, where today we're talking about something very interesting when it comes to SpongeBob SquarePants, and that's this announcement that SpongeBob will be getting not one, but multiple spin-offs in the near future. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to share today's fan art really quickly. This comes from a user named Cryptid. They posted this pixel art version of Metal Duckles. Actually, it's more like a sprite, so this is actually something that I think is like Sonic Mania styled, so I'm loving it. I love how like circular Duckles looks in this one in particular, and of course you can't forget that almighty beak. Yeah, so simple but so iconic at the same time. I'm loving it, so thank you so much. I think Cryptiv has a YouTube channel, so I'll leave a link to that in the description box below and also link it in the top right corner. But again, thank you so much. Back to the topic at hand. So let me go ahead and pull up this Variety article that I saw that broke this news for the very first time. It looks like today. So they announced this on Valentine's Day, so I guess this is Nickelodeon's Valentine's Day gift, as you might call it. So let me go ahead and take a look at the article. So this article overall was talking about a lot of new projects coming up on Nickelodeon, not just like the SpongeBob spin-offs, but also other TV shows. Like I think they're bringing back All That, for example, and that was one of my childhood shows. I didn't really love it, but it was one of the very first Nickelodeon shows I ever watched, so it's really cool to kind of hear that that's coming back. But here's a specific paragraph about the SpongeBob SquarePants spin-offs. Among the new properties heading to Nickelodeon is the first ever spin-offs of characters from its mainstay animated series SpongeBob SquarePants. And then if you move down to near the bottom of the article, they talk a little bit more about it. The decision to broaden SpongeBob may be Robin's most surprising move. The series has been a staple of Nickelodeon since 1999, which means it has multiple generations of fans to reach. That's our Marvel universe, Robin said. You have this amazing show that's run for almost 20 years. While he pledged that Nickelodeon will always make SpongeBob, Robin sees ample room to explore other characters. Among the options on the table are to tell an original story about SpongeBob and Patrick, or maybe tell a Sandy Cheeks standalone story, or can Plankton have his own Robin's muse. I think the fans are clamoring for it. Now, I'm not so sure about that last sentence in particular. I have very mixed opinions personally about the spin-off, and I'm really curious to see what you all think about this. So before you go on thinking that like, oh my gosh, these are going to be TV shows that are going to last for way too long and saturate SpongeBob even more, it looks like that's not the primary strategy of Robbins here. So if you read the entire article, Robbins talks a lot about the transition from kids watching TV shows on television to watching them on their phones, on YouTube, etc. So Robbins is talking more about like having a bigger quantity of shows rather than having shows that run for a long time. So he thinks it's a better idea to have more TV shows that people can just binge watch and then move on to the next one. So he thinks rather than try to make a show go up to 80 or 100 episodes, he would rather try to produce multiple quality shows that tell new stories more often and let people binge watch those and then move on to the next one. And I think that's a very interesting strategy. I do think that that's a little bit more relevant to how people watch shows nowadays. Like that's definitely how I watch shows now. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to watch shows like every single week when TV was a much bigger thing. It was just a natural way of watching things, but now as an adult and having all these streaming services at the tip of my fingers, I love binge watching shows. I think it's just such a satisfying experience to sit down and watch an entire show through 1 or 2 sittings, you know, kind of like the way I watch movies. And so it looks like Nickelodeon is trying to adapt to how people watch TV shows nowadays, because I'm sure kids are watching shows the same way that I am right now as well. So it looks like the reason that he's thinking about multiple SpongeBob spin-offs is that he doesn't really want them all to last particularly long. He just wants to be able to tell different stories within the same universe, and it is an interesting idea, and I'm very curious to see as to how it will pan out. But you know, watching the TV show right now and seeing how SpongeBob is, don't get me wrong, SpongeBob is doing pretty good. Some of the newer episodes are actually pretty entertaining, and I do enjoy a lot of what's been coming out now, but is it enough to sustain a whole spin-off? I'm not really too sure about that. I mean, I feel like they told a lot of stories of all these different characters, and it'd be really difficult to see at least some of the main characters go off and have their own spin-off. I mean, they basically have to move out Bikini Bottom to tell like a brand new story, and it would be really heartbreaking to me to see someone like Plankton leave Bikini Bottom or his own TV show, because he's such an integral part to the chemistry between Mr. Krabs, Squidward, and SpongeBob in the Krusty Krab episodes. It'd also be like heartbreaking to see like Squidward get his own spin-off, because I'd assume he basically have to take a break from the original SpongeBob unless the voice actor is willing to do double duty, but I don't know, that's up to the voice actors. I just would hate to see like a character get removed from the original show to benefit the spin-off. So it really is interesting. I think if they do want to go with the spin-off idea, I'd rather they try to go for the more minor characters and make shows surrounding them, because you have a lot more room to grow with these minor characters rather than these like main characters like SpongeBob, Sandy, Squidward, Patrick, Mr. Krabs, who have been with the show for a long time, who have had multiple episodes focusing on them, so they've been pretty well developed already as it is. I mean, I guess maybe Sandy could have a pretty good spin-off because she has a whole nother life outside Bikini Bottom, so that might be an interesting premise for a spin-off. But I'd be really interested in seeing spin-offs for characters like Mrs. Puff, maybe Gary, or whoever other side characters are there, like maybe even the Miley guy. I actually know that would probably be very terrible, so scratch that idea. But yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking is best for the spin-off, is to try to focus on more of the minor characters that you have a lot more room to build a different and unique story around, rather than trying to pull one of these main characters that have been such a big part of the show for a long time and put them in their own spin-off and basically ruin the structure of the original TV show. But I don't know, that's just my opinion. But let me know what you all think in the comment section below. What do you all think about this idea of multiple spin-offs of SpongeBob SquarePants coming out in the near future? Do y'all like this idea? Do y'all not like this idea? And what characters would you like to see these spin-offs focus on? And what plot lines do you want to see addressed in them? I'm really curious as to hear everyone's thoughts about this. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to my channel if you like videos like these, want to see more in the future. Follow me on Twitter at RydersDX or join my Discord server, the Spongy Garden. And this is Riders, riding out.